Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just started my own new account on chess.com. I have an account. I've always had an account, but I just started a brand new one. In fact, I just played my first game just a few minutes ago. I just finished my first game. The point is to show you in these videos, I'm going to be doing speed runs, and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm starting from 400. I'm starting with you guys. That's right, you guys. You know who you are. I'm starting where you guys are, and I'm going to show you how to climb the ladder. We are going to climb the ladder together. Okay, this is not streaming. This is being recorded. I just want to kind of just completely focus on these games and explain to you. So this should be educational. You should learn a lot from these videos, and you should climb the rating ladder with me in these videos. So I'm coming down in the trenches with you guys, and we're going to do this together. Okay, as you see, the beginner level player already moved the same piece twice. I talk about this in my videos. This is very unnecessary and not accurate. So what do I do this? What do I do here? How do I punish my opponent? I don't have to do anything too fancy or anything too aggressive. I can just simply develop my bishop and go from here. Okay, now he plays this move. It's interesting. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. I'm just going to develop my knight. And now I'm just threatening to win a pawn. And he gave me a pawn. So what to take with first? I'm going to take with the knight first, then the bishop. So if I take with the knight first, we'll trade knights. I'll win the pawn with the bishop. Bishops are slightly better than knights. If no one told you that, this is true. They are. And plus, after I take with the bishop, I'll be hitting his knight. I'll have an attack on it. He should play bishop b2 here defending. So already, just by simply developing my pieces and playing normal chess, and my opponent moving the same piece twice in the opening, I win a pawn. That is if he takes my knight. So he is, 400, so he might not take my knight. And he doesn't take my knight. He actually makes a huge tactical mistake. He comes here with the bishop, check. So we have to be very careful when we make in-between moves. Because when we make in-between moves, you might miss something. And here he missed something. I can actually block the check by moving my knight that was going to be taken. I'm going to move it back and block the check. And now he's not getting, I just cleanly won a piece. So already the game is pretty much over at this point because he's just down a piece for no reason. He's striking the center, which is usually good, but here it's not because he's dropping a pawn. My knight's protecting. If he comes down here, I simply take. Okay, and now he's following it up with g3, which doesn't do anything. It's a weakening move. G3 would make sense if he was getting his bishop to g2 and fianchettoing his bishop. But this right here is not good. Now, again, how do I handle it? I don't lunge forward and get aggressive. I simply just castle, continue with my development, and let the game naturally progress. Okay. We see I can take his bishop, so we always have to look at forcing moves. If I take his bishop, I do double his pawn structure, but I also give him an attacking lane for his rook. I don't necessarily want to do that. I don't want to give him any counterplay. So I wouldn't do that here. I would be very hesitant to do that. So I'm just going to, again, develop. And if he takes my bishop, okay, we're trading. I take back. My pawns are getting closer to the center, which is good. And I'm up material. I'm up a whole piece. So when you're up material, you want to trade down. It's in your benefit. Okay. Again, I can just simply develop my queen. And I don't have to do anything aggressive here. I just develop my pieces. Developing your pieces is building up the pressure. When I do strike, my strike will be that much more powerful. It's like a snake. When a snake coils up, right, it's ready to pounce. It's pouncing with all that kinetic energy that it's building up by coiling up. And then when it pounces, it's that much more dangerous. That's what developing in chess is like, right? I'm developing all my pieces, so when I do attack, I have as much power and energy behind my attack as possible. Okay, I'm going to develop my rook. And here I actually can play e5. So my next move might just be e5. And just open up his center. Again, I don't want to take the bishops because I don't want to give him any counterplay. But now he actually just gives me the bishop. So now by moving his pawn was defending his bishop. So now he just moved his pawn. Now I just simply take his bishop. again, if we just simply ask ourselves basic things here, it's not hard to come out of the 400 trenches. Okay, he's attacking my knight, but I see it. It's a one-move attack. I'm just simply going to move my knight away and into the center where it's active. If he trades knights with me, that's to my benefit because it's to your benefit if you're trading down material when you're up material. It just makes the game easier to convert into a win. Okay. What did he take there? Oh, he took a pawn. Okay. Let's see. All right, we'll just kick his bishop out if he takes my knight. I improve my own bishop. Okay, so I just improved my bishop here. He attacks my knight, but he's weakening squares now. He's weakening his whole position because he made too many pawn moves. And here I'll just come in here with my knight. I'm also attacking his knight via discovery. Okay. What to do in this position? Let's see. I feel like I have... Oh, I do have something. Okay. So this check hits this pawn. So I actually could take this pawn because if he takes with the queen, I have check winning the queen. He lands on basically he lands on a forking square. So if he lands on a forking square, this is an illusion. He's not really defending it. I can take it because if he takes it, he gets check and loses his queen. Okay, and in this position, he loses his queen. And he may resign, he may not. We'll see. But the game at this point is pretty much over. Okay, so I win his queen here. I'm attacking his rook. My bishops are entering the game. He gives me his knight, but I don't take it here because I simply have the rook. Actually, instead of taking the rook, I'll just check first and see if I have checkmate. I think I might have checkmate. All right, he resigned. Okay, so that's... okay, I need to play 3 more games until I get an official rating from chess.com. And let's see if I could just... Where's my window? Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. So now we can see my rating. I want to just adjust my settings so I can see the ratings of the players that we're playing against. That would be very helpful. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. All right. Now we can actually see the ratings. So this is better. Okay. I do wish I could... There we go. There we go. Perfect. Okay. This looks to be a better angle right here. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, perfect. Okay. So let's go on to the next game. All right. Next game is against a 660. Playing the Scandinavian defense. We take here. This is theory. His queen comes out, I attack his queen, and he comes back. He also could play queen a5. Those are 2 good moves. If he came back here, that would be immediate. I would immediately win his queen via the pin. Okay. So the 660, his name is Matt Tierney, which is actually my cousin's name. First and last name. That's pretty odd. So maybe it is my cousin. Okay. I have to text him if he lives in California. Does have the British flag up here, but he lives in California. Maybe he just put the British flag up there for some reason. But I have to text him now if he's playing against a guy named Samurai, because that's me. And he's being recorded. And And I'm going to have to make him look pretty silly, in front of a huge audience here. So I better give him a heads up. Okay. So far, my potential cousin is playing well. Okay, so he's planning. So he's pinning the knight. So he's planning on coming down here with his knight and piling up on this pin, also hitting my queen, which would put me in trouble. I can play c3 here, which would stop it, but I also want to develop. So I want to stop it and develop. And moving a pawn isn't really developing. So I'll play bishop e3 just to stop it. If he comes here, I simply take, and the game goes on. Okay, he comes down here, I take. And now do I have a tactic here? I might have a tactic here. That was not a good move because I can just take with the queen, check, and okay. So again, when you're up material, trades benefit you. So this really doesn't benefit him, this position. What can I do here? Can I do a quick in-between move? I'll just take the queen. And then I'll just take the pawn, and then he should resign. I'm hoping he resigns just to... because there's not too much to learn from this position if he doesn't resign, because the game's pretty much over. I'm going to text my cousin if it's him, because that would be really strange. So, yeah. This check, he takes back. I would take the pawn. And there it is. All right. Thinking. So there's only one move to play here. That's king takes queen. I take the pawn. Now I'm up a pawn. I'm not up a pawn. I'm up a piece and a pawn. Actually, no. We're actually even with pawns. We're even with pawns, but I'm up a piece. Okay. All right. So again, my alleged cousin is playing rook d8 to attack my knight. Okay. Looks like an okay move. How to defend. If I come back here and move my knight out of the way, he takes my knight and doubles my pawns. I might not want to do that. Weakens my pawn structure. I actually have this move. So we have to look for these weird in-between moves. And what this does is if he takes... oh, I made a mistake. I take, he takes. So I goofed. I was looking at this take and then take with my knight. Okay, so it worked because he didn't see it, but I goofed there. So I should not have played that. But it worked out in my favor. Okay, I'm just simply going to castle here, although I don't have to castle. The reason why I don't have to castle here is because castling really isn't necessary when you get into the endgame. In fact, your king wants to be advanced and active because your king's actually a strong piece in the endgame. Now, I don't want my king necessarily in the middle of the board right now because there's still 2 rooks on the board, but I want it to be ready to activate into the middle of the board. So in other words, after I trade some rooks, which you can't avoid right now, my king can just start coming to the center of the board and start dominating. Okay, I'm simply going to attack this pawn. He should probably play b4 or rook c8 and defend that pawn. Okay, attacking the pawn. He could come here and sacrifice it. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to start advancing my king. And I just keep on advancing my king. So this would be a good lesson on how to play the endgame at the very least. Okay, still advancing my king. And I'll start advancing my knight. My king really can't advance any further. It did its job. If he comes down here, calls check, I can block with check or just block with the rook. Okay, I could take, but this activates his rook. And then my pawns are messed up. You don't want to break up your pawns. You want your pawns together. So if I took, he takes, my pawns are broken up and he's pressuring all this. So basically what I do here is I just sidestep. I play b3 and now everything's locked in. His rook's staring at his own pawn. He doesn't have any counterplay. So I always limit my opponent's counterplay. I don't play games double-edged, especially when I'm winning. If I'm losing, then I have to make things double-edged to get some type of advantage. But when you're winning, you just shut down the opponent's counterplay. Okay, and we have a check here. All right, kind of like that. All right, and he's attacking my knight. All right, a little over aggressive there. Should be he should have moved this king. Oh, he can't move his king in, but yeah, at this point it's hard to play his position. So I throw in a check. He should move up. Now I can't come here. Okay, I'm just going to lock down this square. So now he can't push forward and kick my king out. Okay, he's attacking my knight, but not really because it's defended. So in this position, I could probably just force a trade of rooks with check, and then here, check. Okay, should I get fancy on him? You know what? Let's do this check. If he takes, I take his rook, so maybe he'll just fall for that. If he comes back here, which he should defend his rook, I trade rooks. His king's all the way back here, so it's not activated. And my knight can just come in here and attack this pawn and this pawn. So he can't do any in-between moves because the check is coming from the knight. And like I said, if he takes the knight, he loses the rook. And his pawns are doubled if he takes the knight. Okay, so that's the best move. I take the rook first. And now I have a dozen moves here I can play. I can play this, which is just good. But I'll play this, forking these two pawns. I'm going to win one of them, obviously. This one's hard to protect, so maybe he should just protect this one. Interesting. Okay, again, I don't take with the pawn and double my pawns. I take with the king, activate my king, keep my pawn structure in shape. I could move my king up and take this pawn, or just take this pawn. Both are good. One's probably mate in 37, one's mate in 36. That's a joke. All right, so check, winning this pawn. And this game is all a matter of technique right at this point, as what they say. Okay. Players at this level don't resign either. Not encouraging them to. I don't think you ever should resign, especially at this level. You should never resign. So I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying it's just they don't resign. So like when you play like 16, 17, 1800 levels, that level and higher, you start seeing more resignations pretty quickly because they know there's realistically no chance to get back in the game once someone develops a significant advantage. In this game, I have a major advantage, and my opponent's still holding on, which I have to give him credit for. So I'm basically going to win this pawn. When I win this pawn over here, the counterpart to this pawn, the A-file pawn, becomes a pass pawn. So that's very dangerous. The pass pawn cannot be stopped by another pawn. That's why it's called a pass pawn. So we have to use his king in this position to stop it. My king will then take these pawns, and now these pawns are passed. I'm going to queen on one side of the board, or if not, both sides of the board, and win the game. Okay, in 7 seconds, it looks like my opponent will resign, and we will have a new game. No, he tricked me. Okay, all right, so I'm going to take this pawn, and now my opponent made me angry. He really tricked me. He tried to pull the wool over my eyes, and I'm going to have to put the the pressure on him at this point. I'm really going to have to lay the smack down. Okay, so I'm just going to throw in a check. My knight's protected by the pawn. I never have to worry about my knight. No calculation needed. A lot of times in endgame, there's a lot of calculation needed, but a lot of times also in endgames, there's zero calculation needed. I really don't need to calculate. This pawn's going to queen. If he does put his energy here to stop it, I'm just going to take these pawns and queen with this pawn. It's very simple. This pawn's defended by the knight. This knight's defended by the pawn. I don't have to worry about these guys. I don't think he can even get to this pawn. Yeah, it's impossible for him to get to this pawn. So what do? Do I come here, takes, then here? I'll just come for this pawn. So now these pawns are going to drop, and yeah. Okay, I'm just going to take and queen, and I'll take with the pawn now. Only way I could have taken was with the pawn there. Okay, and now once his king goes behind my pawn, they can never catch up to it because the pawn can move one space at a time, and so could the king. So the king, once it goes too far up the board, it can never catch up to the pawn. So, yeah, so hoping to get a few more games in here. I want to play as many games as possible. Like I said, this is all educational. I want to show you guys that, how to take advantage of players in the beginner to intermediate levels, and there's no better way to do that, to actually get in there and actually play with them and annotate the games as we go. I think it's the best way to learn. It's very easy to absorb the information, and you'll see that it's not that hard. The players at most of your all levels that you're playing at, they have a lot of weaknesses in their game, and it's very easy to exploit these weaknesses. So that's the whole point of this this video series right here. Okay, so it looks like he's gonna resign. Okay, all right. So I'm not even rated yet. And I think I need 2 more games to get rated. Okay, I'm going to play this Sicilian here. So now I'm playing a 700. So now I'm moving up the ranks. So now chess.com is moving me up into the 700 rating. So look at me. So I don't know what my rating is going to be when I get out of here. Maybe it'll be high. Maybe it'll be like 1,000 or something. Okay. So, all right, just going to start developing. Keep on developing. Usually D4 is played, or C3 or D4. So D3 or D4 is played. D4 is the regular Sicilian. D3 is the closed Sicilian. Okay, so D4 is played. I take, and now he takes, and I play knight F6. And now the best move is actually knight B5. I actually go over this in a short video. I call it the Tyson's attack. Comes out of the Sheshkinov Sicilian, but he didn't play into it. He didn't play the theory because he's only 700. You can't blame him. And he took the knight, which is okay. It's not the mainline theory, but it's still okay. Okay, pinning my knight. All right. So what to do here? So if I push, he pushes. I can come here. I'm just going to ask his bishop what he's doing there. What are you doing there? I'm not letting you stay there. It's too much of an annoying pin. He should have probably maintained the pin. When you have a pin and you take the piece that you're pinning, kind of defeats the purpose of a pin. A pin should be annoying. You should build up on the pin, pressure the pin with other pieces. That really didn't do anything. It just helped develop my queen, and he got rid of the pin himself. So he should have played bishop H4. Would have been better. Now I could pin him if I wanted to. That's if I wanted to. Okay, he wants to trade queens with me. I don't want to trade queens in this game particularly, although this would be good, probably. Doubling his pawns. But I'd rather not do it. For this video series, I want to keep the pieces on the board and wait for him to make a mistake and show you where he made the mistake. I don't want a long, drawn-out game that's going to take several minutes to come to a conclusion. Okay, and also I'm not playing the best moves, okay? I'm just playing, like, very basic moves here. I'm not going to play, like, tactical moves like a 2000 would, like super tactical moves and all these crazy variations. I'm just going to simply try to win the games with just basic, simple chess and basically asking myself, what's my opponent's threat? And developing and keeping my king safe, just following the basics. That's the whole point of this video series. So far, though, yeah, he's not playing so bad. Okay, but he's moving his queen too many times. So I always tell my students not to do that. Here I can just, okay, move my pawn up. So, take more control of the center, protect my bishop, attack his queen. His queen has to move again. I'm going to try to make developmental moves and attack his queen at the same time because his queen is vulnerable. What should I do here? Should I come over here? He takes, I take. Or should I come forward? He comes here. All right, first I'm just going to hit this pawn. So I'm just going to put my rook on an open file, hit the pawn. It's that simple. You want your rooks on open files, your bishops on open diagonals, and your knights on posts, outposts, pushed up the board because the knights are short-range pieces, so they don't have the luxury to sit back and chill on the back ranks and still be powerful like the rooks and bishops do. Okay, so he's attacking this, but this is defended adequately. Okay, it looks like I can just take a pawn here. So again, I'm not necessarily playing the best moves, just very basic moves. Okay, this is defended twice, and this was not defended at all. So I just went ahead and took this pawn. Okay, he's attacking my bishop. If I come here, he takes my bishop. I take with the rook, and then this pawn's up for the grabs. So maybe I'll come here first, check. Then he puts the pawn here and attacks my bishop. So it looks like I have this check with the queen, winning the knight. Again, basic one-move tactic or two-move tactic. Again, this would we can reference another video I just put out, how to take advantage of aggressive players. In the second part 2 video I just put out, this is a similar position to the final position that I put in that video, where the queen comes to a5 a lot of times and forks, when the king's still in the center, checks the king and forks a piece. In the other video I had, it forked the bishop on g5. In this video, it's forking the knight on a4 because white, again, was too aggressive and started launching an attack before he was fully developed. And here, white has really nothing to do. I can just take this pawn and start, taking pieces. He's not castled. His pieces are not coordinated. For him to get his rook into the game is a real hassle at this point. So already he's in and he's down a piece, so he's in a losing position. Okay. So the queen comes here and attacks my rook. Okay. We have to ask ourselves, what's the threat? The queen's coming here, but there's no other piece here, so there's no mate threat. He is threatening my rook. He's not threatening my bishop because my bishop's protected. So what's the best move here? So I can take this pawn, which moves my rook out of the way, defends my rook. My queen's also aimed here, so this would actually defend my rook, win a pawn, and attack his queen, and put pressure on the bishop. So that looks like a pretty darn good move to me. And what to do here? What does he do? And my rook is on the second rank. You want your rooks on the second rank eventually. That's like ultimately where the rooks, that if they have a trajectory of where they want to go in life, it's the second rank. Or if you're playing with the white pieces, it would be the 7th rank. That's where they do the most damage, especially when there's 2 of them there. If I have a second rook here, okay, he just resigned because he just gave up his queen. All right, let's do another one. I still don't have a rating, but I'm moving up the rating ladder according to the chess.com algorithm because I keep on playing higher and higher rated opponents. Okay, so this is good. I go over this in another video, the first video of how to take advantage of aggressive players. And usually it's at e5. In this position, it's out of the Sicilian. So I probably should have played e5 because it's more of a basic opening. But anyway, he's attacking my pawn. Okay, so what do I do here? I could just play knight f6. He takes, and then I could play this. No, I can't do that. How do I defend this? I can play here, but does he play this? Let's see. I'll just defend my pawn and get ready to play knight f6. Okay, now he's threatening. You have to always ask yourself, what's your opponent threatening? And he's threatening checkmate. So if I come out here with my knight, la-di-da-di-da, just developing, not thinking of anything, I get checkmated. Well, not checkmated. I actually have an escape square for my king, but it's a pretty horrible position to be in. Okay, so now here's where I block. And I say in the other video, sometimes they have check and winning your rook, but here there's no check. The pawn's in front of the king, plus this pawn's here defending. Okay, now what is your opponent doing? Very basic stuff. My opponent moved, even though he retreated, he still moved. The position has technically changed. So his queen's aiming in a different direction in conjunction with the bishop. So the queen's attacking checkmate again. It's coming around this pawn. It's coming here now and attacking f7. Now I do play knight f6. So I stop the mate while developing, if I can. Okay, that's the best way to handle it. Okay, this is protected, so I don't have to do anything. I could take, but it's a waste of time. I am winning a pawn, but I really want to concentrate on my own development. So I'm just going to develop my bishop and get ready to castle. Yeah, so notice that I'm not really concerned about winning this pawn. I'm more concerned about my own development. All right, I'm just going to get my knight out. My knight can come here, attack the queen, attack this check, winning the rook. And simply just by playing defense, not that I wanted to play defense, I'm just responding to my opponent's threats. They're overly aggressive threats. And concentrating on my own development, I'm already getting a much better position. Why do I have a much better position? You're probably asking yourself. Okay, well, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces out. And now I'll castle first. I could play this, but I'll castle first. He only has 3 pieces out. He made several pawn moves. His king's still in the center. I just have a better position here. Not winning, I would say, but a better position. But probably soon winning because he's probably going to make another mistake. Okay, again, he moves his knight here. You never want to put your knight on the side of the board. Well, never is an absolute. We don't want to say never in chess, but you usually don't want to. In this position, he almost had to because his queen's taking the natural square for his knight on f3. But then again, he probably should have played knight e2 here. The knight's not good there. Okay, now could I win his queen here? If I come here, he has to come here, right? Or doesn't have to? Okay, I'm just simply going to attack his queen. My knight's on an excellent outpost. Okay, we just talked about outposts that we want our knights to be moved up the board because they're short-range pieces and protected by a pawn, so they're not easily dislodged from that outpost. And now I have check winning the rook at the very least, but I have to scan the board and see if I have something better. Do I have something better? If I attack, does that do anything? All right, I'm just going to check and win the rook. Okay. And I'll just go ahead and take that. All right. Okay, I don't know what that does. He's moving the same piece twice again, so it's kind of a waste of time. I'm just going to simply take time to move my piece back in the game. I am moving the same piece twice, you're right, but I am just trying. It was in the corner. I'm trying to get back into the action of the game, and plus I have much more development than he does. Okay, he just gave me his queen. So again, he moved. We want to always see their threats, but we also want to see our opportunities too. It's a combination of both, right? So here I could take the queen. I could throw in a check first and then take the queen. It doesn't really matter, but I'm going to take the queen. Okay, I'm going to get my my knight back into the game with check. Now my knight's on excellent square, and he resigns. Okay, so my rapid rating looks to be 850. So I'm going to continue, and we're going to go on here. So maybe I should stop when I get to 1,000, then I'll do another video. What happened here? Oh, after this, my opponent looks like he might be aborting this. Maybe he's watching my channel and he's like, oh no, this guy's too good. This guy's an undercover chess master. Okay. All right, he aborted the game. Sorry about that. Let's just go with a new one. Okay, we're both 850. Well, on paper at least. Okay, so he comes out with the Alekhine defense. So I play this. He comes here, and I should be playing this now. He doesn't play the main line opening. Okay, great. I'm just going to continue to develop. I could attack his knight, notice that, but I'm not going to go for one move attacks here. Okay, I'm developing. If he takes, great. I'm going to take back. I could take back like this too. What should I do here? I'll take back like this. Opens up my bishop, but there's also pros to taking this way. It does put more pawns in the center. We're taking towards the center in that position, and I could play d4. Okay. Let's see. Can I get a knight around here? All right, I'm going to put my bishop here. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to get checkmate over here. He's going to castle kingside at some point. I'm going to get checkmate or the Greek gift. Oh, I can't have the Greek gift now because he played h6. If you don't know what the Greek gift is, I have a short video on that too. I go into it. It's a nice little tactic to know. Okay, I'll just play bishop f4 here. Again, just developing. Nothing fancy, nothing else to do but to develop in the opening. Unless your opponent gives you something to do. That's basically what you want to do, is just develop. Okay, over-aggressive, like beginner players are. And this is the type of beginner player that would beat even more beginner player or a more inexperienced player, if that makes sense. He's lashing out with aggression, and they don't know what to do, and a lot of times they crumble. Okay, he shouldn't be lashing out too soon. I'm simply just going to come back here and just continue to put pressure to defend this pawn. In other words, if he comes here, my knight's also defending this pawn. So if he came here, I'd have to move my knight, and then he could take the pawn if my bishop wasn't here. So if my bishop came back this way, he could play this move and then take my knight. Okay, I could play en passant here. En passant is when someone makes two moves on the first move and they end up to the side of you. You can take behind them, but you have to make the move right now. You can't make a move and the next move do it. You have to decide whether you want to do it right now on the spot. I don't think it really benefits me, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, I'm just going to develop my queen. Do I have to develop my queen, though? Can I put my knight here first? Let's just go with the queen here. Let's see what my opponent wants to do. So if he goes forward a kingside attack, it's kind of a waste of time moving pawns. And if he uses all this time to make pawn moves on the king side, I'm simply going to go queenside, and all those pawn moves are a waste of time. So this is similar to like now a French type opening. Okay, so he's trying to chop away at my center, but I think this is no good. I could take here. He takes with the queen. I come here. He takes with the knight. Yeah, no. Actually, this opens up the this diagonal to the king, so that's not good. So if anything, I have this check first, and now his king is on the run already. This is not good. His king cannot castle now for the rest of the game. He's going to be stuck in the middle of the board, and he's on the run. So the king is on the lamb. Oh boy, and he shouldn't have come there because now this comes with check and draws his king in even further. Oh man, how to take advantage of this the best way? Okay, I'll simply just take with check. He's going to take, attacking my bishop. Okay. And now what to do? I guess I'll move the bishop back. I probably have a crazy tactic here, but let's just play normal chess and just not play too crazy. Just, again, he's attacking our bishop. The whole point is that we can just play by the basics with very basic rational thinking and beat a lot of players all the way up past 1,000 just by playing with that in our mind, right? Just thinking what's our opponent's threat and looking for our opportunities and just basically seeing one move attacks. Maybe two move attacks, if that. Okay, he comes back here. He's trying to get his king to safety, clearly. So again, since he was attacking and expanding on the king side with his pawns, I don't necessarily want to go king side, so I'll castle queen side. So there's no attack here on this side. There's no pawns coming at me, so I'm safer on this side. This pawn's also pinned to the king, so that's something to keep a note of. I can't take advantage of it right now because the queen's also defending. But if the queen moved away, or if it wasn't there, I could just win this pawn for free. Okay, so you definitely don't want to move pawn moves in the opening, too many pawn moves. At this point, he really needs to develop his pieces. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces on the back rank. Notice I castled. I have all my pieces in the game. Just have to get the rook in, and all my pieces are pretty much taking part in the game. I could trade his one active piece for one of my pieces, and then he would have no pieces in the game, and I'm attacking his rook. So that's a viable option right there. Or I can simply just bring my rook in first. I'll bring my rook in first. Then maybe I'll go for that. Again, he probably should play bishop g7 or something, getting his pieces in the game. His pieces are very clumsy. His king is in the middle of them. That's stopping his own pieces from getting into the game. And his king is vulnerable to attack, obviously being in the middle of the game, in the middle of the board. He has a cool name, though. I'll get roasted cashews. Roasted cashews are excellent. Very underrated snack. Absolutely. Okay. So now he brings his queen into the game. I guess that's bringing his queen into the game. Let's see. I come here, threaten this. He takes. I come here. This is not a great position for him. All right. Let's just come here. Right. Attack his queen. He could trade pieces with me if he wants to. Okay, so what to take back with? I will take back with the queen or bishop. Which one to take back with? I'll take with the queen or bishop. I'll take back with the bishop. So I'm attacking his rook. His rook can come here, but then it's susceptible to attack, so it has to come there. So that's a good move. Okay, and now I'm threatening check here and check here. This check would win the rook. This check would win the game on the spot by checkmate. So 2 threats there. How does he handle them? It's not easy to handle. I'm not even sure, really. I can't really recommend a good move in this position. His king is so bad. It's in the middle of the board. That's the only piece really we don't want in the middle of the board is the king. And I have full development. Again, as you noticed, I'm castled. My rooks are developed. My bishops are developed. My queen's developed. And this move does avoid checkmate, it looks like. No, it doesn't. It's check. It's going to lead to checkmate anyway. So I have check here. He has to come here, and then I believe this is check. He blocks with the bishop, and that's checkmate. So I don't even take the rook here. So I just check again. Look for more forcing moves. He has one move here, which is bishop blocks, and then we have checkmate. Okay. All right, so 901. All right, so I'm going to stop when I get to 1,000, however long that takes. Okay. Okay, I'll play e5 here. Keep it simple. I'm not going to play the Sicilian. Hopefully he comes out here again. Oh, no. Okay, so again, all right, so now my opponent's playing, this opponent is playing a little sharper, a little bit more principled. Okay. He's coming out a little aggressive there, but that's fine. Again, just developing my pieces. Nothing fancy here. Nothing fancy to see here. Just getting my pieces into the game. He takes, that's fine. I'll take like this. I don't want to trade queens with him. That's why I didn't take like that. Didn't want to trade queens early. Okay, that's not really doing much. I'm just going to develop my bishop first, get ready to castle. That's really what my priorities are. Just developing my pieces quick, castling, and then I'll start thinking about some type of attack or strategy. Not even necessarily an attack. All right, so I'm castling. I can't really think about going castling this side because I have an opening. I would have an opening to my king on the b file. We don't want openings to our own king. We want to create openings against the other player's king, but we don't want openings on our own king. Okay, so what is he doing by this move? Knight b3, he's attacking my bishop. So clearly I have to do something about that. I like my bishop on this diagonal. It's a very good diagonal for my bishop. So I'm simply going to move back out of the way and do that. I would not play d6 there because he would take my good bishop and also triple my pawns. Triple isolated pawns would be very bad. Double isolated pawns are bad. Triple isolated pawns, very, very bad. Very weakening in your position. So definitely try to avoid that. So what should he do? He should probably start developing his bishops. Maybe this one here. Okay, so again, he lashes out. This is great. This is falling right into my other videos. So like I made those videos for a reason, how to take advantage of aggressive players. Because this is how the beginner players, but like the kind of more advanced beginners, like they're a little seasoned. They've been playing around the chessboard, fooling around with the chessboard for a little bit longer than a straight up newbie has. And they start really putting pressure on someone. Or it's two beginners at the same level. They're both playing aggressive. And that's just how they play. And they're giving up way too much position. And it's just not what the position calls for. You should be developing your pieces. Okay, that's actually speed in chess. Developing your pieces is being fast in chess. So we have to think of it like this. Like development is increasing your time and your speed in chess. Not necessarily attacking. So he's attacking my knight. Okay. I can simply just develop and pin his pawn to the king so his pawn can't take my knight. I'm also attacking his pawn. So if he doesn't do anything about it, I'm just going to take his pawn with check. But I'm also developing my rook into the center of the board. Okay, he should have probably defended, but he doesn't defend. So I can just take with check. I'm winning a pawn, and I'm winning with check. So I'm gaining a tempo. Okay, so he can't take the bishop because he'll put himself into check. So I'm just going to pile up on the pin piece. I think I'm just going to develop my queen and put more pressure on this bishop. So he should castle here. His best move is probably to castle kingside or queenside. Both are pretty good. Well, queenside has the downside of running into my open rook, but he goes kingside. Okay, that's much better. Okay. Should I just take here and bust open? So I take and I win a pawn here. Not even sure if that's the best move, but it just, again, it's basics. I'm just winning a pawn, right? Okay, this is not doing anything. I'm going to play in the center, centrally expand, take control of the center. And again, this is a developmental move because it's getting my bishop out. It's preparing to get my bishop out. Okay, so he's attacking my rook twice, so I can't let him take my rook, right? So if I make a regular developmental move here, he wins my rook. So we don't want that. So how to avoid that? I could come here with the knight, attack the queen. That would be interesting. He takes, I take. If he moves out of the way, I take. It's interesting. All right, let's just take with the rook. And then when he takes back, I'll just move out of the way. I will move out of the way, but where to go? I'll go right here. It's the most active place for my queen. My knight is guarding the back rank, so there's no back rank checkmate. If he takes with the queen, like a sacrifice, I don't take with the queen and get checkmated. I take with the pawn, and now if he comes down here with check, I have an escape route for my king because the pawn's not there. So that doesn't work, in case you're wondering about that. So it appears I'm up 2 pawns, and again, I don't think I did anything spectacular. I just developed my piece. Okay, he played queen e2. Okay, so now he's going for back rank mate, it looks like, although it doesn't really work. But the whole point of why the back rank mate kind of works, or is a threat here, is because my rook is not connected to this square, right? This bishop's in the way. So I can simply put more defense to this back rank mate, get rid of those threats by developing. So we want to defend things by developing if we can. by improving our position. So I move my bishop out of the way, which uncovers a defense, an extra defense on the square, develops my bishop, gets my rook ready to get into the game, and attacks his queen. So you can't go wrong with moves like that. These are just basic moves right here. So this is how we should be thinking over the chessboard. Okay, he moves his queen away. And now I'm going to chase his knight away. I'm going to chase his knight away and then maybe play check here at some point. Maybe get my rook over here and attack this pawn. Or maybe just meet his rook head on. Okay, he goes for my bishop. Okay. I'm simply just going to move back here and just move back here. And play against his bishop. So maybe one more or two more games and I'll be at 1,000. We'll see. Maybe one more game after this. Okay, so... Oh, I thought he moved. He did not move. He's still thinking. Okay, so just, again, offering a trade of bishops. Not too sure about that one. If I take, he takes back. If I move my knight here, he takes my bishop for free. I don't want to do that. That would be kind of silly. I could just take and then move my knight to this good square. That looks good. That does look good. So I'll just trade. Again, I'm up 2 pawns, so when you're up material, it is in your best interest to trade down. I'll bring my knight here. So this blocks the E file that he's creating a battery on. And it improves my knight to a great spot. I just got confirmation that was not my cousin. Okay, that would be really... all the stars would be aligned tonight if that was my cousin. Okay, so what to do here? He should probably be challenging this knight because this knight's so good. He should probably be moving the knight back and trying to get rid of this knight. He should not let this knight stay there. If I kick out his knight, I'm actually helping him find a good move. So he has to find this on his own, but if I kick him out, then he's probably going to naturally just find it because his knight has to go somewhere. Or right now, I can just fork his queen and rook. So when the rook and queen are on a diagonal, they're usually susceptible to knight forks. So we have to look for in-between moves. There's no in-between move here. I simply just fork his queen and rook, and I'm going to win more material. Okay, he doubles up and again, threatens this check. But if I take his rook, there is no check there anymore because his rook's gone. Okay, do I want to chase his knight away now? No, I'm going to take over the E file first. Or am I? No, I will chase his knight out. Then I'll take over the E file. I was just a little concerned about his queen coming down here. Now his queen can't come here yet because my rook's here. So I'm just keeping his queen at bay just for an extra move. Okay, I could pin the knight, but he can just simply guard it with the pawn. So now I'm going to take over the E file. It's a central file in the middle of the board, so it's very important. Okay. Attacking my queen. So what's, again, simple questions. What's our opponent doing? He's attacking our queen. I'm going to move out of the way with check so I keep my initiative. I'm not falling back with the initiative here. I do have 3.5 minutes. Wow. Didn't think I was that low on time. Okay, so I have to start doing stuff then. All right, let's just ask his knight where he's going. What are you doing with that knight? He can come here, check. I come here. He takes with the queen, but I take his knight. Then he has check. I come here. Check. I come here and block. Okay, I'm good. All right. What to do here? What to do here? Where can he go? All right. I'll just move my rook up to the middle of the board. Attack his knight. That's not defended. Maybe play my queen back here and get ready to threaten all these sorts of attacks here. Okay, I could take the pawn, but I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to simply play on this file and just positionally just kind of squeeze him. I'm just taking over this file. If his knight's now defending the square, but if his knight moves somewhere, I just win the queen via the pin. So he's in a very tough spot here. Okay, so he does in fact, again, aggressive players. Beginner players are aggressive. And why is that such a bad move? Because the knight, like I said, was defending this pinning square, which wins the queen. So he lashed out with an attack that isn't really an attack because my queen and king already protect it, but it just weakens his defense. He loses the queen, and that's why he had to resign. Okay, I'm 934, so maybe a game or two, I'll be 1,000, and then we'll stop this episode. And then the next episode will be 1,000 to whatever, 1,200, whatever I go to. Okay, he plays the French. Okay, so let's play the main line, which is knight c3. And then, okay, he's taking there. Was that not the French? I'm sorry. That was the Caro-Kann. Okay, so he's coming out here. So again, the main line is to just simply take and take like this. You could take either way, actually. This is the main line, but there's also another opening where you take with the g-pawn, which is another thing. Okay, c3. I'm supposed to actually, I just know the opening theory here, supposed to develop my bishops and castle queenside in this position and launch an attack at my opponent's king. But you don't really have to know all that to play this opening. You can castle kingside and just be pretty much fine here. It's just, this is the theory. Okay, so this is going to come down here. If I came here, if I just develop though, we also have to be careful where we develop, because if I just mindlessly develop my queen to d2, he would come down here and trap my bishop. My bishop couldn't take the pawn because his bishop will take. My bishop wouldn't be able to come backwards because my queen would be there. And that makes sense. That's why the theory is queen c2 here and not queen d2, because you would just lose your bishop. Now if he does this, I can just simply move my bishop back. I'm totally fine. Okay, not only is this, I'm totally fine because I can move my bishop back, but I could probably throw in a check first, then move my bishop back, and be totally fine here. Now he does have this rook coming in here, so I never really seen this before. Isn't that something? I come here, he moves the rook. Oh no, this should be fine. So check first. Okay, I moved the bishop back. He could trap my bishop, but again, his whole king side's destroyed if he does that. So I'm expecting this check first. I'll just block up my knight. He comes out with the queen, very aggressive. Very, very aggressive. All right, what to do first here? So first I'm just going to castle queenside, get my king to safety. That's number one priority. Now he could trap my bishop, because if I take, he takes back with the queen, and his king side's not as busted open as it was. But if he comes here, I'm not going to take. I'm probably just going to play h4 and try to open lines up against this king. But he can't take. My queen's there. What am I saying? He can't take, but he can play this first. That's what I meant. Okay. All right, he should have trapped my bishop, I think. That's personally what I think. And now I'm just going to simply save my bishop. If he did trap my bishop, like I was saying, I'd play h4, h5, open up this lane. My rook would open to an attack, check, and it would be very dangerous for him. Okay, I'm going to develop my knight. Again, nothing fancy, just developing my pieces. Asking myself, what's my opponent's threat? Okay. You might be seeing like this is a potential fork, so I can play c4, then c5. But in the meantime, he could play c5 himself. I'm also weakening this pawn by playing c4, so we have to be careful. I'm not saying c4 is a bad move, just saying we have to be careful. Okay. What to do here? Should I just put my rook here? I kind of like this rook. So my rook is sometimes you can. The fastest way to develop your rook is just simply leaving it where it is sometimes, because it's opposite of the king. And if I just move this pawn here and open this lane up, my rook's on an open file. Not only on an open file, but an open file to my opponent's king, so it's in the perfect position already where it is on h1. So that's something to think about. And when kings are castled on opposite sides of the board, the general strategy is to launch pawns at each other. We don't do that when our kings are on the same side of the board, because if we launch pawns at each other when our kings are on the same side of the board, we'd be launching the pawns in front of our own king. So yes, we'd be attacking the opponent's king, but we'd also be weakening our own king in return. Okay, so he's attacking this pawn, so I'm simply going to defend that pawn with the king. So simply asking myself, after my opponent moves, what's his threat, how to stop it. And then I'll go forward with my own plan. A lot of beginner players just keep on going forward with their own plan. They don't ask themselves, what's my opponent's threat? And that's really all it is. Okay, now he has no threat because he just moved here. There's no threat there, right? And I can continue with my plan, my attack. I'm going to simply come here and try to open up the game. Okay, if he comes down here, I'm just going to push the pawn, close the position. I want the position closed where he's attacking. If he's attacking my king, I want that closed. Conversely, I want to open up his position. So if I play this move, he should not take. That would open up the game. He should not let me take. He should play. Okay, he should have played g6. All right, I can't take the pawn yet because the queen's there, but still, it's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Things are going to open up pretty quickly. Let's see. What to do here? Should I come here? Yeah, I'll bring my knight here. Just advance my knight. Notice again how all my pieces are developed. And he's actually doing a pretty good job with his development too. His development's good. His king is just not safe. So now we got to the next level. He's pretty good with development, this guy. He's just, or woman, but he's just not good with, the king safety is not good. And I have open lanes to his king because I have no pawn in front of my rook. So my rook has a lot of, it's maximizing its power right now. I take, he can't take because I'll take this pawn with check. Okay, so he's moving out of the way and protecting his pawn. Probably a good idea. But what if I just play this? So this is a pin. We have to look at it that way. He can't take or I'll win his queen. So when we have any type of pin, we want to put pressure on that pin. So now I can just simply take with the bishop and then I'll be aiming more pieces at the rook. Again, I'm doing all these threats with keeping in mind he has no threats of his own. I always look for his threats, but there's no threats of his own right now. Everything's defended. The bishop was attacking the pawn. I defended that. His knight's not attacking anything. It's just hitting air. His rook's running into his own bishop. This rook's running into its own pawn right now. The queen's not doing anything right now. So I go on the offensive. I attack a pinned piece. And now it's going to be very hard for him to keep that piece. I'm not sure if he can. It's not so much the pawn, dropping the pawn that's bad. It's that after he drops it, I'm putting more pressure on this pawn, which he can't defend. And then there's going to be a lot of pieces firing away at his king. And he's going to get mated. So that's a problem. We don't want to get checkmated, too. I should have mentioned that in a few videos before. We don't want to get checkmated. Yeah, definitely don't. Don't get checkmated. Okay. He's still thinking here. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. Can't really blame him. You know. Can't really blame the guy. It's very, very, very tough spot to be in. So I've been following the chess championship here and there, on and off. And the last game, Ding Liren completely froze. He had like 3 minutes to play or 9 minutes to play 10 moves, which isn't a lot at that level. And he had to make time control. So he had to play all these moves within like 9 minutes or so. And he totally froze and just let the clock wind down. He just couldn't find a good move, and he just gave up the game there. Sometimes that happens. Chess. Psychologically, we kind of look for the best move. We don't know what to do. We just freeze, and then time ticks away and we lose. Okay, so he's countering and attacking my rook again. We could look at it that he's attacking my rook. We do have to see what our opponent's threat is. But here we actually have a bigger threat. So we don't have to defend this, right? If we could attack something of equal or greater value to our opponent, we don't necessarily have to defend. We can just go on with our plan, which I'm going to do. I take the pawn, so I won a pawn. But more importantly, I'm attacking his queen. So he doesn't have time to do this. I'll take his queen. Oh, he might actually, because he takes the rook and attacks my queen. Let's say I take, he takes. No, I'm sorry. He takes, I take. He takes with check, I take. But he can't take the bishop back because it's pinned to the rook. So, yeah. Okay, so he moves out of the way. I could just take with check, or I could take like this. I think this is actually better because I'm attacking the queen and setting up a discovered attack. So in other words, I take attacking the queen. When the queen moves away, anywhere I go is a check. And I have a dark square bishop, and there's a dark square knight that's not defended. These are things to keep in mind. So I actually can take here. Again, if he takes the rook attacking my queen, I'll just simply take the queen with check and then take his bishop. Okay, so if he moves his queen out of the way, let's say here, I simply move out of the way with check. Any bishop move I make is a discovered check. The rook is discovering check. So I move it here to a piece that's not defended. And the next move I take the undefended knight. Or, actually, I might even have a better move. If he comes here, do I just come here, check, taking away the square for the king? So the queen would have to block, and then I win the queen. Yeah, this is bad. The tactics are all my favorite. You don't have to see all the tactics. You just have to see the basic tactics, but you don't have to see all the tactics. It's just I have a winning position. So what I want you to take away from this game is, why do I have a winning position? I have a winning position because his king safety is bad. Again, I have developed my pieces. He developed his pieces too. He just didn't really, he doesn't have enough mobility, and he doesn't have activity in his pieces, and his pieces aren't really like harmonious with each other. All right, so now I have this check, winning the knight. I also now have, since his queen landed on a dark square, I have this check, right, with the rook, so winning the queen, right? So it's a free move. When you have a discovered check, you have a free move. So it's like, if I had two moves in a row, how would I win this queen right now? I'd move my bishop here and then here. Well, with a discovered check, you basically have that. So I'm coming here, check. He's going to move his king away. Then I'm going to take his queen, and maybe we'll hit 1,000. If not, the next game will definitely hit 1,000, and we'll go from there. So he has very limited moves here. He could move the queen over here and block, actually, and that's what he does. But he still loses the queen. He just gets a rook for it. So do I have any other in-between moves here? No. So I'm just going to take with check. And now you notice his bishop is in front of his king. So I actually have another pin. Now I'm pinning his bishop. So now I'm going to win his bishop because he can't defend his bishop. So I won the queen and the bishop. Again, this is all because he has no king safety. He allowed me to open up the H-file with my pawn. Okay, and now I just simply take the rook since it's not defended. Okay, again, really we always have to look for our opponent's threats. But in this position, when we have such a serious level of material on him, we always look for stuff, but we really want to look for our own attacks to finish the game. Okay, so let's just, where to go here? Check, he comes forward. I really don't have to worry about this. All right, let's just come here, just preparing to get my queen involved in the attack. Once I get my queen involved in the attack, this should be pretty easy. He takes this. Now, this pawn is actually protecting my own king, believe it or not, because if the rooks were ever on this file, it would be hitting its own pawn. So this is called an umbrella pawn. All right, so I'm going to come out here with check, and he doesn't have enough firepower on my king to really do any damage here. If he comes down here, check, I could always just take this pawn and move out of the way. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? Check. So he has an escape route for his king. So I want to check, and I want it to be mate. So how do I make that happen? Okay, very simple. I'll check first here. Now he has to move his rook in front of the king, and then we have checkmate. Okay. All right, what am I at? 9-7-2. All right, one more game, and I will be over 1,000. Okay, so we have a 9-7-7. It comes out. Okay, much better openings than the earlier, like the 6 and 700s coming out with their queen. Like this. That was pretty crazy. Okay, so this is the Ruy Lopez. Okay, so he is undermining this pawn, so he takes it. So that's, he won a pawn, but this is theory. This is okay, because in the time it took him to win the pawn, I got so much more development. Okay, what do I have here? Do I have this queen move yet? No. Okay, I'll simply just castle. And again, yes, he has a pawn, but I'm castled. I have 2 pieces out. Attacking his knight now that's not defended. And when it moves away, I'm winning this pawn. But the thing is, he didn't move his knight away. He just let me take his knight. So there you have it. Yeah, not much to really discuss there. Okay, he's attacking my rook. I'm just simply going to move my rook back. No problem. No problemo. He's protecting a bishop that wasn't attacked, so that's a waste of a move, I would say. Let's see. Okay, so developing my queen, attacking this pawn, which attacks the rook, and putting more pressure here. So I might have like a sacrifice check, but I don't even want to get that crazy. I just want to just show the basics. I'm attacking this pawn, developing the queen. If he brought his bishop back here, I can take this pawn. If he takes my bishop, I take his rook. Okay. Maybe he should have played c3 there. That would be a good move. So maybe I was a little aggressive there. Maybe. But this move, taking, check, looks like it could win material. No, he moves his bishop back. All right, so we'll just play normal. I'll take the pawn, attack the rook. We'll keep it basic and as simple and as basic as possible. I take pawn, I attack rook. I don't leave anything undefended. I should be okay. He's attacking my knight. So let's get into danger levels, which is what Gotham Chess calls it, Levy Rosman, right? He calls it danger levels. Okay, basically what this means is, okay, he's attacking our knight, but we're attacking something bigger. So I can just take and ignore it, right? Well, maybe. So I take his rook, he takes my knight, so that'd be a bigger piece. Then I also take his knight with check. So I think we're in a good position here. The only thing I'm concerned about is the strategic part of this, the positional part. I take, he takes, he opens up the G file to my king, which is susceptible to attacks now. So if I take, he takes, I take with check, he comes up here, let's say. I can take this pawn with check. I should be able to defend. But we just want to keep in mind we don't want open lanes of attack to our king. In this case, I'm getting so much material for it, it's probably okay. Okay, he should have taken. He should have taken, I think. Although this is interesting. He castles, protects his knight, and he's still attacking my knight. So that's interesting, definitely. Well, I'll just move my knight out of the way. Can't be bad. And now I just want a piece. If he moves his knight to, well, he can't move it there, but if he moves it here to attack my queen, I simply just drop my queen back somewhere. That move didn't do anything, so that's a waste of a move. So a lot of beginner-rated players will make moves that really aren't necessary to the position. They're not really doing anything. Okay, I'm making moves in the center, bringing my knight back into the center, this bishop's ready to go out and do stuff. I'm attacking this pawn, etc. I don't know what he's attacking by putting his queen there, to be honest. I wish I knew, but I don't. I don't know what he's attacking. I wish I knew. I just don't know. Okay. So I could probably attack something. If I take this pawn, I'm attacking his bishop, right? So that's good. I don't think we want to see his threats, but he has no threats. He has no threats. This is nothing. This is nothing. If he comes down here, I just take. If he comes down here, my knight's not even there. I just simply take. Okay, so I'm just going to win a pawn here. I'm going to win a pawn and attack the bishop. Okay, so he moves the bishop out of the way. That looks like a good strat. Okay, so I was attacking his bishop. He moved out of the way. That's good. All right. Probably the best move I've seen in like 7 games. No. We can attack this queen here. I could develop the bishop. I could take this pawn. I'll take this pawn, I think. I just attack. The bishop's defended, but if the knight ever moves away, I take the bishop. So I'm just winning a pawn here. If I was him, which I'm not, but if I was him, probably come bishop c3, so I get another, get more pieces aimed into the game and aimed at my position, aimed at my king. That's probably what I would do. But if he does that, I'm still very okay. I can still defend pretty easily. But that's at least something to think about. My next move might be coming down here. Okay, so he's threatening checkmate, it looks like, or some variation of checkmate, if that's even checkmate. It's just wishful thinking. Again, it's a one-move attack. We just have to see what he's doing. He's attacking here. I simply take towards the center. Most times we want to take towards the center, not away from the center. And attacking his queen. He comes down here. He's letting me take his bishop, which then he would come down here and have maybe an attack. He wouldn't, but it would still be worth it. I'm just winning his bishop. But more importantly, I'm also winning his queen. Now, is he attacking anything for me? No. So I'm just going to simply win his queen. And I think I'm going to break 1,000 after this game and throw a party. No, but yeah, I think this is over at this point. Again, I hope this episode was helpful. I'm pretty much just playing the most basic way possible, not trying to do anything fancy or super accurate. I'm just trying to play basic chess here and just show you how it's pretty easy to beat anyone below 1,000 with just basic level chess. The next episode will be to show you how to beat players maybe from 1,000 to 1,200 or 13, 14, 1,500, and so on, and how to progress up the rating ladder, and how it's not that much more difficult. It's just kind of thinking a little bit further ahead, but not really too difficult. But we'll get into that another time. So he lost his queen and his bishop's attacked here. So he's down an incredible amount of material. Probably his best move here would be to resign, but his second best move here would be to move the bishop out of the way. Maybe the bishop here or something. Bishop here, I guess. But looks like he's resigning because his auto-resign clock has just started. So looks like this is the last game here. This is the end of the road for him. So I hope you found this video helpful and educational. Okay, I broke 1,000, so we'll end there. And the next speed run will be 1,000 to 1,200, maybe 1,000 to 1,300. I'll figure it out. I'll see what the analysts think, and I'll get back to you. But yeah, basically I just want to show you again. I know I'm beating the dead horse at this point, but just to show you how it's not rocket science, how we can easily take advantage of a lot of these players' weaknesses. A lot of times they're over-aggressive. It's just really the nature of the beginner level player. That's why I put 2 videos out already of how to take advantage of aggressive players. And what I really mean is over aggressive players. Aggression when it's not warranted in the game. A lot of that comes from not developing pieces and just simply lashing out when you're not developed. Then we can turn the tables on them. There's also a lot of instances where they're dropping pieces and we just take advantage of it. Again, we're just asking ourselves, what's our opponent's threat? If they have it, respond to it. If they don't have a threat, go on with your own threats. Figure out your own attacks. Come up with your own plans. All right, that's it for today's video. If you liked, please comment, like, and subscribe below. I'll see you later.